And welcome back. Well, people are beginning to travel again. So today, what to check on before you leave. We're also going to tell you what to consider before a big life change, such as a new job, selling your house, or moving. Al Spiegel is an attorney with McClario, Helm, Bertling, and Spiegel, and he's here to help you get your independence back. Good morning to you, Al.
Hey, good morning, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us. You know, I think a lot of people are starting to travel again, or at least desiring to travel and book some of those things. So what kinds of things should they be checking on before they decide to do so?
Well, probably the main thing we think about from the legal side is you really have to think about what's going to happen if there's some kind of an incident or an accident. Are people going to be able to find the documents that they need? So the most important thing is to communicate to the people who are, executors in your life or powers of attorney. Let them know where they're going to find stuff, whether it's a fire safe at your house or whether they have it with them, and maybe who to call if something happens is a good place to start before you travel, just so you can feel comfortable doing that.
So what kind of documents should you take with you? Because you kind of mentioned that.
Yeah, really the only ones that you should have with you, or at least have very quick access to, are your powers of attorney, especially if you're traveling out of state. It's not unusual for people, who are visiting the state of Wisconsin to get in a situation where they have a memedical issue come up, and we have a hard time finding their powers of attorney. So if you can bring a folder along that has a power of attorney for healthcare and a power of attorney for finance for everybody that's traveling with you, it could really save a lot of headache and heartache in the event something happens.
That's so true. I've never thought about that, and I think that's actually a very good point, because I know some people that's happened to. What about if you're moving, not just traveling? Where should you start with that process and some of those documents or things that you need to have in order?
Sure. Well, really the first thing you got to figure out when you're moving is what professionals you want to involve in that process. And that can be anything from somebody to fix up a foundation issue in your basement to, do you need to hire a realtor? There are people who, have someone in mind that they want to sell their house to. Do you need to hire a realtor if you've got that all together? Maybe you could just hire a lawyer or work with a title company to do that. So those kind of things become more important. And then for anyone who's moved like me, a lot of stuff gets lost in a move. So before you start packing stuff up and throwing stuff in the random box that might not get opened for 2 years, find those important papers and put them somewhere where they're going to be reachable right away after you move.
Do you suggest that we have a paper copy? Because you sort of allude to the fact that we would have a folder or such.
I do. It's nice because digital documents are real hard to get to in the event something happens to the person who's got all the passwords. So it's nice to, if you have a digital document and you can forward it over to your power of attorney, whoever it might be. But, if you get in a fender bender or something out of state, it's sure nice to have a paper copy of everything that you can hand to your treating doctors and nurses, so they don't have to worry about trying to communicate and get digital documents in the middle of the night or over the weekend or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, because some of those things may be urgent and you want to act quickly. What should you be thinking about, though, to kind of go back a little bit to when you're selling a house versus buying a house?
Yeah, selling a house, you really want to think about what needs to be done with that house. Those people who want to list a house on their own have to think about, what are there major repairs that need to be done? Are there major issues that are coming up? And not only that, but when you're selling a house, one of the big things we think about as attorneys is, what do you need to disclose about that house? When we sell anything, our first instinct is to try to, paint over it and not disclose and kind of put on the rose-colored glasses. But legally speaking, it's always wiser disclose everything so that whoever's looking at buying it can make a decision about whether that's important to them or not. And then if something happens in the future, you have clear evidence that, yeah, I let you know there was an issue here and you decided not to go forward with this. It really protects you legally from any kind of claims down the road.
So smart, because you want to get top dollar, so sometimes you want to paint a prettier picture than is reality. So what about buying then? Is there anything specific about buying we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, buying, really, you kind of think in the opposite way. You definitely want to think about, hiring an inspector. One of the things that I've seen a lot in my office is intra-family real estate sales, and a lot of times those real estate sales are handled very informally, and that can be a really dangerous thing, because as much as it's a stress if a defect comes out in a house you've bought from a stranger, it's a whole new level of stress if a defect comes out in a house you've bought from a relative. It can make Thanksgiving get real uncomfortable if you're paying thousands of dollars to fix the foundation in a place you bought from your aunt. So you got to be careful to put all that stuff out on the table.
So true. Nobody wants to get in those kind of family feuds. That's not healthy.
Right.
What kind of I guess cases and such do you guys specialize with at your law firm, Al?
Yeah, we're kind of an old-fashioned general practice firm where we really try to be the firm that our clients can go to for most of the things that people deal with in sort of a regular day-to-day basis. So we help people with business matters, we help people with criminal matters and traffic tickets, we help people administer estates and create estate plans, and we help people with personal injury type cases, whether it's workman's compensation, personal injury, or just a general lawsuit. So we cover kind of all those big areas, and then the miscellaneous things that come up, reviewing contracts, writing letters for folks. We really try to be the one-stop shop that can be a family's law firm that's going to help them with what they need.
I love it. And I know you guys are doing things remotely now. We just saw your wonderful commercial. Thank you so much for joining us, Al. I'm going to give the information so people can contact you guys.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tiffany.
Absolutely. Have a great day. All right, McClary, Helm, Bertling, and Spiegel are offering 20% off right now on their estate plans during the month of July. So take advantage of that. And there's free powers of attorney for high school seniors with a family estate plan. So as always, your initial consultation is free. You can contact the firm at 262-251-4210 or just go online at mcclario.com.